Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Any side in the world. This is Mohammed Shilan coming to una from the United States of America. And with me, I'm the distinguished co-host, Mr. Victor Mengat, where they come to una from Surrey, England. So today as usual, we get to activities. Uh, well, first and foremost, let me inform the audience that we numbers them. We are only relying now on a single number when at the WhatsApp number. Okay, so if you want for call in and talk and participate as far as calling in is concerned, you need for go to the WhatsApp number, and regardless of where you call from, it is universal, so you can able get to we. The number na +1 343 997 5828. Again, +1 343 997 5828. So we hope that serves everybody well. And also, say we get several platforms. We get several platforms, so we can for just notify the audience about the platforms them. Now we get YouTube. If you go on VOS television, you will able to get we on YouTube. Facebook, likewise, VOS television. You will get we on Facebook. X, formerly Twitter, again, VOS television. You will get VOS television. Then VOS television website, if you go now your tablet or your computer, you will get we at www.vostelevision.com. www.vostelevision.com. We also get a radio site, or not a site, a radio channel where you will be able to reach we if you go on the website, VOS TV website, on at www.vostelevision.com. Then that radio station, www.vosradio.com, not television, vosradio.com. So if you go on that website there, and for do that, you get for be able to download the VOS app. Because without that app there is a likelihood, either not be able to reach VOS radio, or if you get the channel on a 91.9 FM, you may get the wrong 91.9 FM depending on where you're calling from. So, but download, go to the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store and download the app, the VOS app. Then you go on to 91.9 FM and you'll be able to get we very clearly. In addition, we'll get the VOS Diaspora Helping Hands non-profit organization, where we try for raise money for help promising young people them back in Sierra Leone, where they in the business, where they go school, but where they not get the financial wherewithal or the financial ability for keep them going. So we try for some of them, or for all of them, not for dropouts. So in that case, we ask that when I contribute, no amount is too small and no amount is too much. So you can send on it to www.vosdiaspora.org. So if you go now, www.vosdiaspora.org, you will be able to access the information where you need in terms of where to send whatever amount you get for sending. So these are some of the things. Them also, as usual, when the discussion begins, then you are welcome to call in as soon as you can for participate in the conversation, either because this is a live show, it goes all over the world. So, and it's live everywhere except for the time difference. But people who are regular listeners, they know for calling. And also you can send in written comments or commentaries, whatever you want to do. So as soon as the show begins, as it has begun, or as we get going now, when we start dealing with the issues, we would like you to get on the phone if you have something to say, or comments to make, or suggestions to make, or disagreement to make. Get on board, give us a call. Now the WhatsApp number, then state your case. You get 3 minutes, and then at 3 minutes, there will be a buzzer. So, local boss telling you your time is up. If you know say you get more for say, or you not say all what you get for say, the best suggestion is stop right there, because we want to give you 15 seconds after that buzzer day, because the machine might cut you off. So for make sure say you end where say you end, what you need for do now for just call back. And we do so as a courtesy to all the other callers then, because nobody wants to be on the line indefinitely, unreasonably, indefinitely. So because of that, we would strongly suggest that please abide by the buzzer rule. When the buzzer come on, it's time for you to stop talking and just call back. You may be at the end of the line, but that's how we get everything moving forward. Okay? Now, so again, like I said, my co-host, Mr. Victor Mengot, and I know very well. You don't need any introduction. I go get for pass it over to him, make it just tell you now which you get in mind, and then we'll go further. We'll go progress or move on. To you, Mr. Mengot.
Well, thank you very much. My people, my family, in a good evening, in a good afternoon, or good morning, depending on where you did. As usual, Bondesi Awanai, Fumamini Mpiari, Jarama, Wali Benda. We can't today again. For come, low up much panting the way they happen. And this time, now trying time in our country. The topic that we'll get today, all related, because we talk about citizens. We all hear about NIN. What's in a NIN? National Identification Number. When I done the lead forget you other documents them. And we're going to talk about what's in they talk about how people come, what's in the logistics problem, and how that relates to rights. So if you not get them, because the area said they will get some punitive measure. The other issue we want to go to the talk about tripartite. If you take the English definition of tripartite, it means 3 parties. Because three, partite, 3 parties. Do we actually have 3 parties draw? Because for we feel to say all these things now for deal with governance. Thing we for do with how the government they protect we, how we parliamentarian they represent we, but even in the tripartite, because if you took the one when I be SLPP, now 2 parts they per SLPP. You get SLPP as the government, you get SLPP as the party. So now 2 then that one, which I would say that one that if you like we get a pot we get 3 foot. That 1 foot then a 2 sided. Then you go the other foot when an APC, you get the one the way they talk about electoral justice, right? Then you get the one the way they talk about let's move on. So then again, now more than 1 party then other 1 foot. But the one way now very interesting, the 3rd foot, when the people who can call moral guarantors, me go call them immoral guarantors. Because why I go call them immoral guarantors? Because they can come, they raise we hopes them, They know to been talk about, say things are not going straight, but yet still they keep quiet and say, just go ahead. Then finally, all we talk what they're talking about party and election. The two party them started with the APC and the SLPP now. Then they try to forget the one that will represent them and forget that favorite title where they call flag bearer. Because we not say president beyond the car again. But the way then they fight for position, we see some people in the campaign then get accident, let God rest their soul. The one that will get accident in that contingent day. We see some other people and they talk say the delegate system where then democratic. So it's the party elections and then choice reflective of how we manipulate the general election in the country. So we get Bokuti for Rob Motpan. So now the one and they broadly the three topics that we don't talk about: the citizenship registration, the tripartite, and also thing for do with party representation in the government. So over to you, sir, for start the ball rolling, Mr. Shilo.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Mengot. Now, last week, we won't forget to the issue. We will ask the control room for play a video for we of the Minister of Information, where they talk about registration of the NIN numbers vis-a-vis other identification cards them, and then the consequences or the punishment people will get if they fail. And if I recall, we hear on the video, I think the deadline at December coming, but we will see what's in the deadline. So some of we, as a matter of public service, for me, from a lawyer standpoint, I get certain questions. As a matter of fact, we may be more than happy if we will try to extend an invitation to the Minister of Information after this broadcast or this broadcasting, and then see what he will say if he will accept. Because a lot of times we do extend invitation to some of them public officials here, because we really want to make sure, say, we'll give them equal time and we'll give them an opportunity for clarify. But they are very selective in terms of where they go, the invitation they wouldn't accept for whatever reason. But I think it will be, the nation will be well served, because we're not to play got you kind of thing. We're not to bring any minister or any government official or any parliamentarian for kind of embarrass you or for disrespect you. We just want for una be able for those explain when certain issues then come. And we on the difficulty where we get in Sierra Leone, every critical thinking, where I think God make we for think critically, when that lead to success and progress. But every time you question something or you get some kind of other analysis, people tend to think, oh, you're opposed. And naturally, there's nothing wrong with opposition. But people and they misinterpret any disagreement, and then some people and they even take them personal. And we always emphasize at this show, our only interest and motivation at this show, mostly on viewers, not to this particular show alone, we motivation the national interest. We're there abroad, we see waiting the potential for our people there. We see how our people in life can be changed in every facet, in every level. So when we then are, we enjoy all them privileges there, their advancement there, their progress there. We wish the same thing for our people. They go, I don't care whose party in Australia. The rich man, they get appendicitis. The rich man, they get hernia problem. The rich man, they suffer cancer. So you say to yourself, you take like me, I've had open heart surgery. Okay? But for the grace of God, if me not be in a country like this, I will not be able to be talking to una strongly like I talk. All right? So for me, having lived in the most remote area in the country, when I wake up at that operating table there, I think what the poor man, Upper Bambara Chiefdom, Kalau District, who will never, under any circumstance, get that opportunity today for then on operating table forget a heart operation. So it's out of love, it's out of concern. And I know say progress don't advance in such a way, we can somebody in the most remote area in Australia can get that same medical treatment there. So when some of we talk about waiting on this salon and waiting in this salon, we don't want to begin to say, oh, well, you put the government down. Okay, but hey, now the government got for create the opportunity for more for Canada country, and the government get the power for shutdown opportunity too. So even if it's being critical of the government, it is well meant, it is well meaning. It is not being told, but I thought it is ridiculous phrase there, oh, you want to embarrass the government. How do you embarrass the government if the government do right? You can't embarrass the government. And I think any government that is serious about governance should have no problem with critical analysis of their activities or then failure to act, because normally in the law, you can get responsibility both ways. You can be negligent, your negligent act can cause you problem, or your failure to act. That's what governance is all about. So I encourage some of the people where then a party listening plug then get. They not they try for look at things objectively. Now make APC make the same mistake, SPP makes the same mistake where APC they make. Now make always they analyze and say there are two sides of the same coin. Now make they say APC and SPP, neither party is capable of leading we to the promised land, because you could tell. So the one way they can then show here, I will appreciate if you can for gain knowledge, but not to for propagandize, because not to that we try to do. We get the best hope. Now I use myself an example. I would love that somebody from both districts, from Koinadogu Street, with a very serious ailment, was treated and he get well in Australia. Why wouldn't I be proud? So these are the wishes we get for we young people them. But some of una figure say, where una don't reach that position, where it is no more difficult for you for run go England this evening and come back Monday, that 99% of the people will never ever get even close to that possibility. Those are the ones we are talking for. Okay? And if it means stepping on toes, criticizing people, it is not to offend anybody. We are saying this in the best interest of the country and with people them. Okay? And for some of una we believe in party label, you know, well, to each his own. In fact, that's the more the merrier. So now that make we get diversity. That's what democracy is all about. Diversity of ideas, differences of ideas. The market let the marketplace decide. So with us, I just say all in here for let people understand. So Mr. Mengot tell you now what you will get for talk about today. You know, there is this talk about the NIN number. Now, waiting, so make the control room play the thing. Then I go ask Mr. Mengot after the control room player. Making first just tell we analyze them in terms of which is see, then we want deal with the legal aspect of it. So control room, please play that for me, please.
If somebody uses a mobile phone, now the person that tried to get somebody's nude, ask them to move to WhatsApp. I think as soon as you move to WhatsApp, you need a number. Now that number has to be registered. This is why, again, government's policy requiring everybody to have NIN.
Sadly, not all numbers are registered. But not everyone has a NIN.
But we're going to, on October 1, we'll turn off all numbers without. We've made this clear. We're going to turn off every single number that doesn't have that, so that you will link with that identity and we can find it. But even if you don't have NIN, the government does have the ability now, if you have a phone and you're using that phone, they can track you. They can find where you are, especially if you're committing crime. They just have to follow due process to be able to do that. So this policy, what it does is it makes even the law enforcement have a framework by which they can apply that. So we can guarantee press freedom, which is critical, but we can also guarantee individual privacy or reputation. You know, we don't want to live in a country where somebody will grab them and say, "It like amphibian," and get away with that, or go online and begin to put this blackmail campaign against you. So we will be able to have the structure to systematically deal with these issues.
Okay, Mr.
Yes,
Mango,
sir.
you get anything for say? Otherwise, I can move on.
Okay. For the benefit of we listeners, them, it go fine for get background how this NIN can into to be. Yeah.
And the mean,
NIN.
do you
Why do you
spell them
call
for
it
me?
NIN?
Let them know say NIN and what it stand for.
It's an abbreviation, NIN, which means National Identification Number. This is the first time we dey get at na saloon. For me and you, where they America and England and some other place, we get similar number we identify with. In fact, in America, here we call it social security number.
That's what
I don't
we
know
call
what
it here.
you
That's what we
Yeah.
call it.
Yeah, social security number. And then for make sure say that number there it relates to you for employment purpose. So how did NIN come about? NIN come about because Salon we don't get identity before. We don't get identity card. But in 2011, there was an ECOWAS protocol. We talk about free movement of people. So they say all the 15 member states of the ECOWAS community, that is the Economic Community of West African States, forget a biometric identity card. And the process which they lead for let's get a biometric identity card, now, first of all, you get so that national identification number, now you they use for apply for biometric identity card. Also, the number can say, even the identity card will get different one them. We get national identity card, when are for people that were born in Sierra Leone, when are Sierra Leonean. We get alien identity card, then are for people that were resident in Sierra Leone, where they give right for stay or work. They'll get the ECOWAS identity card. With the ECOWAS identity card, now they use in place of passports because people are not through land borders they travel mostly. And it's simple for let them travel with an ID card which machine readable in all the ECOWAS states. And then they cost 135 new laws. Go talk about that. But now they say this NIN number, now you they talk up, now you they take, forget bank account, forget your social security, NACIT number in a salon, forget driving license, forget passport. And also, when them in a debate last year, they say you get forget that NIN number, they compulsory force for register as a voter. But anyway, the parliamentarians them in this debate and they say it will be one form of identity. But coming back to this, before Mr. Shilon come into the controversy about this whole thing, if we listen to the video where Minister of Information say, we want to talk about the relationship of this NII number to you being able to use your mobile phone. In October, if you don't register your phone number with NIN, then go cut them off. But at the same time, if you listen to the video, he even says because it defeats the purpose where it say go cut automatically, because it say government can still trace you as long as you use the phone number in Sierra Leone. If you do anything untoward. So if government can still trace you, why now? Without putting all the mechanisms in place. But say, well, at the stroke of a pen, you'll be cut off from communication. And we know the different thing the way people and they use their mobile phone for. WhatsApp, communicate with people, mobile money transfer. So I want to let Mr. Shilong go rub more on the legal thing, the legal aspect of this declaration where the minister say. And also, the process is how you dey put law, because this it look like now like a secondary legislation in my own part, or this delegated legislation. Has it been gazetted? If it's gazetted, how widely they don't make people know about it. So let not go into Mr. Shilon Yompe, let left and so let him do the analysis. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mengot. Now, I am concerned based upon how the Minister of Information do analyze or suggest or propose or announce the law with respect to registration of NIN number, and then in relation to your SIM card. And then let us see, we'll therefore check the constitutionality, the appropriateness of the law, where the minister say, I don't even know if na law, I don't know if na parliament don't come up with that, if not just a regulation, because there are a lot of things wrong with what the minister say. And I think as a lawyer who means well for the country, as a lawyer who thinks, say, what the minister announced so go violate extremely the fundamental and constitutional rights of citizens. Now, first of all, listen to the minister. See, this law, this registration is clear by implication. Now, the government, the law, they try to protect from whatever the government is afraid of. Because, look for say, the thing now for promote national security in the real sense, look so, look say, listening to the minister, because to get the ability, boy, it can come back. If we not tell you for prevent actual crime prevention, they not tell we say that registration there are advantages. I not dispute that. This will go enhance with digital services. Not tell we say it go improve with national planning and data accuracy. And then in hotel we say that will be in line with the best practices worldwide of other countries. Instead, in emphasis, go into dabble a little bit on this thing about, well, in case somebody like you, government get away for track you. Well, this is the constitutional violation of the whole process. Government under a duly observed constitutional practice, government should not engage in tracking people. It's a violation of your movement of freedom or your freedom of movement, where then at the Constitution. So again, this is some of the problem I get with Sierra Leone. For some reason, Parliament, the executive, they just believe, say, laws are not being passed for them. They just get the ability, or the laws are meant for them for pass for others. Because right there, the government itself, from the minister in your mouth, a constitutional violation nowadays for track. You affect the man in freedom of movement. Why does the government want to track me? Shouldn't I be free to go wherever I want to go? I mean, why do they want to know where I'm going? Also, my movement. That of itself is a constitutional violation. Okay? So, if this is not from the government in rep, the minister in your mouth, government for be able to track. So the law, it looks like the motivation behind the law, that for turn the country to a police state. And it can be misused, and it will be misused if not the intentionality of making the law. Like I give the examples there. There are many other good reasons why that same requirements there. Now, like when you make a knife, when they invent knife for the first time, just imagine if the person will invent the knife or we come up with a cutting device, they just say, well, we need this cutting for kill people. or for find out whether they go kill people. Instead of the man will pay NEF for say, now we'll get NEF. It will make life so easy for do certain things, for court plazas, for court beef, for do many other things. What would you use that for? Because the positive aspect in there. Now, of course, you can use net for kill somebody, but not to the purpose that they make the makeup. You see, fire. When fire was discovered, the purpose not for go begin for burn people in hosts. People do that with fire, but not to the so. So when government come up with ideas, like I always say, the Constitution have to protect the citizen. The Constitution have to put limitations on the power or the exercise of power by the government. So here we have the minister now coming and talking about, you must do the thing here. We go able for track you. Or what you want track peaceful citizens for? Now, we get a normal process. If somebody commits a crime, how for investigate without violating the person in right. So you see, the motivation behind which we pass laws, them will come back for huntry. Because then laws there, then get political overtune. One party then a power, they want track down activities of the other party, then also kick aside constitutional law until the shoe is on the other foot. So this, as a lawyer, as an American trained lawyer, and when I say American trained, I'm fully American trained. Because not only did I study law here, I practiced law here for 49 years. Next year, if I live long enough, it'll be 50 years as an active practicing attorney, so I know what I'm talking about to some extent. And by no stretch do I consider myself an expert in constitutional law. So some of you now one day take any course in constitutional law, we want an expert in Sierra Leone, and to do that country a great disservice. And the one that way the teacher, until they get LLM degrees in them, if you are teaching constitutional law in Sierra Leone, you first step forward, you owe it to the country. For say some of them tell what they say, because kind of the show disagree with me. Tell me, because if you're a professor of constitutional law, they might know it better than me. Come at the show, tell me, you will educate me. And we believe also in America, unlike the lawyers in a salon, we get what we call continuing legal education. As long as you are a lawyer, you are required to take 12 hours of continuing education. But when in a salon, you don't learn all the book, you do not require that. Once you get a degree, they will say you don't learn all the book, which is contrary to human nature. Because as long as you're there on this art, you learn even at the profession. If we take the Australian mentality, there will never be progress. Take like medicine. Can you imagine if all the medicine we know now what you learned 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, because we get doctors then? Medical science is going forward by leaps and bounds. So, but not the immune system. And the immune system, once you get a degree, you don't learn all the book. That's it. All that mentality there, to me, borders on arrogance and ignorance. And we have to be more humble and be thankful for the opportunity to find ourselves in a position where we can impact people in life for the good. But that's not the general attitude what we get back home. Okay? So the one that would play constitutional lawyers, they draft and put constitution together where they not even take constitutional law 101, shame on them. Because they do the country a disservice. And just because you're a lawyer, I've said it on this show over and over, does not make you an expert in constitutional law, or in contract law, or in domestic law, or in aviation law, or in commercial law. The law is wide. It's very wide. It's very wide. So let us not continue for fool of people then, say because somebody in a Sierra now good control lawyer, so let us take him for draft constitution. He may not be that qualified to do that. Okay? So me just try for this is an educational thing. And I always, knowledge is not limited to me or my co-host. So if you get a differing opinion, please feel free. Come on the show. We will treat you with respect. We will agree to disagree respectfully. It's all for the benefit of the country. So the minister, first and foremost, the tracking thing is unconstitutional. Now, who are the people who for raise the issue. Not to me in America. Now the civil society, the legal profession, and people in way go impact, and the opposition members, APC and the other party there. Can they see this is something, this is a trap being laid for them? Now therefore they're at the forefront fighting this thing. So they need to get qualified lawyers for raising thing. And I've always advocated, say, una bombard the court with constitutional issues. Don't worry. If the case is going to take 10 years, let it be. Just keep filing these things. Now, this issue where the court for day before the court get for rule on, the court can give their own political ruling if they want. But if you present a cogent argument and tell the court why it's dangerous for the country, it's even dangerous for the court itself, and that's not the kind of heritage we want for left for posterity. I think it's a matter of argument. But I am just saying, number one, on this law, this and that, then it affects you in the right of privacy. It affects your right of owning property. I mean, so that law where the minister they talk about, it take away your property in your hand, because first of all, your right to freedom of expression clearly, go and sit and go turn your phone off. That should be unconstitutional. What guidelines do they have in place? They make reference to due process. We'll get the ability to track individuals, although with some stuff of due process. But what is that the due process is we name? None. Okay? Because if you want before when I pass the law, when I also look at the constitutional aspect and see what guidelines you're going to put in place. Now you say when I get ability over the telephone company tell them to turn off your phone. Well, what right do the citizens have? What right of appeal do they have? That's what they call now what they call due process. Waiting at that person, they then turn my phone off. Wouldn't that be right? How do I fight back? Suppose they turn it off lawfully. Suppose they turn it off in error. So what right? The minister not tell we anything but that. It just show we the same flagrant violation of people in right for just say, we'll go turn your phone off if you know what they call. Just what about your ability to hand a livelihood? Your property. Because first of all, your SIM card now your property. So then they can deprive you of the use of it. That's nothing illegal you're doing now. Okay. Then, so if me want transfer, what about your ability for transfer money from abroad, from within? The government is telling you now, we can do all of that without regard to your right to a living, your right to privacy, and all of that. So these are some of the things, because I can sit down and I can tell now a whole lot of things that is wrong with that law there. And media doesn't try to encourage the government for please, the same cattle and the refer to. Now me property, now me get them. Government don't forget the power for just take them or stop me from using it if I not pose any danger to the society. That's what Constitution is all about. And Parliament not get the right for pass any law. We'll take that right there away. Parliament, the activities are subject to the Constitution. So we need to get some of them things in place, and I strongly urge the lawyers in the country for be able, within the rules, for fed-back. Some of them things here we would see government just to try for push without regard to now. I know say I had to take up more time, but for example, when they talk about registration, I will come back to that. Now I raise some questions about registration of the SIM card and the other identification, registration of the SIM card in relation to your NIN number. And then I will talk about the differences we get. We don't call a national identification number, but we do have national identification number. But the purpose for which they get in this country, in England, totally different from the purpose what they express back home. We don't express with one national identification card because the government is scared. The government is nervous. the government now intend for follow the law. We're not them for promote. Now then, a country like this, in a country like England, you get national identification number for facilitate social benefit to people. Since people can get the same names, so your social identification number go show more like Toure. We may have 1,000 more like Toures in Australia. But that identification number, they go distinguish you from all the other more like Toure. Or Munda and Sumana. There may be many Munda and Sumana, or Bokari, Konowa. There may be many people with that name there. The national identification number go differentiate between you and the others, plus on a date of birth. So before the government they take that huge leap there, first and foremost, try for see if it is a generally acceptable practice. Because when I was home, as someone who grew up in the interior of the country, over 80% of children born were not registered at all. They not get birth certificate. My contemporary with whom I grew up in Pendembu, Upper Barbara Chiefdom, not get birth certificate. My age group. Okay. I had it because maybe come from Freetown, would I use that? So to begin with, we get for begin for register, birth, and death. Before we go even get with NIN numbers them right. And then make them provisions, then they lay them foundation, and then you can come up with some reasonable argument as to why, in fact, you get to come up with reasonable argument as to why somebody should be tracked. Because we don't see any evidence yet why they for track any peaceful citizen, any citizen for that matter, even a criminal. A criminal in constitutional rights still attaches. So you just can't track them just because you get the power. So it's about time government make laws, wanna put some thought into it, and wanna force for comply. So set the example. So let me just go back to my co-host, Mr. Mengot. I think I can get to carry the water. Oh, sorry about that. Let me take a call. At least let me take one call before we go back to Mr. Mengot. Hello, caller. What's your name inside the call?
Hello. Good afternoon, Mr. Mr. Mengot. This is Abdul call from Maryland.
Hello, Mr. Abdul. Nice hearing from you. It's been a while.
Yeah. I just want to report on this discussion. I support Suna 100%, especially the analysis where you don't give, but the NIN number and the concerns and way some of we get. Knowing Africa, Sierra Leone in particular, the politics where they go, where they happen, you tend to be afraid. You tend to be afraid when government say they implement this NIN number. There are good sides to it though. Like when you want to open a bank, you want to open a bank account, you go get to provide you NIN, because I remember the very year when myself go amigos get me on the registration secretariat. I want to do something where they say I supposed to get not to the passport, they're not gonna accept the passport. Then you are set up a business, you forget the NIN number. Then you see that now we're good for track down people when they do illegal businesses. But the reasons where you advance for the citizens and be wary, like what the minister they say for track down, because there is every tendency for let you to spy on your opponent, them free speech. Yeah, that is one big area where or people that we perceive for the opponent to government, where you feel to say the utterance system where then they make it antithetical to government. Every government will get that tendency there for clamp down on free speech. So now that I'm only concerned about that governments, learn or government or overuse them for clamp down on free speech and clamp down on people and privacy. Because like the minister rightly say, and the Inspector General, I don't hear a Boku forum same way they talk say Sierra Leone get the second best cyber security apparatus after South Africa. Sierra Leone dey next. They don't talk on a Boku forum there. I even mentioned say I remember the 2023 attempted coup. The two guys they were being where them they go and gallivant now stations and then two captains Abba Senesi and the other one Thomas Bango or whatever. Now through that cyber things they can take it way for track them down. Because now that the Inspector General will claim now one press conference where I'm a listener. So then get the apparatus as the second best cyber security apparatus in Africa. But however, be that as it may, me still get concerned about clamping down on perceived opponent, perceived critic of government. Now that side me get concerned. Even though perhaps you go getting good side, because I remember when they implement in Ghana just before Nana Akufo-Addo they left power, instead of make that simple announcement the way then say they for register all SIM card. The opposition self go AY about that, but eventually they may get for implementer. So now me on concern that's no more. That then not use some card for clamp down on perceived opponent, perceived critic of government. Because knowing Sierra Leone politics, they always want for everybody could be sycophant. Let everybody wait till you verbal or writing before always feel with sycophantic rantings about the government, that the government, nothing not the way the government is doing a bad thing. Everything way the government is doing a good thing. Even though you may have critique, so like some of you guys who are doing it genuinely for bring the government on the rail, let them not go off the rail, then they might be perceiving it as being opposition, that you are opposing everything about the government. So that can be a concern no more. I will call back. I stop super. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Menga, do you have anything to say? I get something to say about what you Abdul just said, but go ahead, sir.
If you have anything. What I want to say, me are always concerned with due process and what experience am. We already get a situation at Salone before the introduction of this NIN number where you cannot get a SIM card if you don't show an identity. That identity, as I know, could either be your passport, your voter's ID, or others. So that system, they already exists. Because, for instance, I left Sierra Leone about 3 years ago before I go back this year. Right? It be non go off. But I had money in my Orange Money portfolio. So I went back, show an identity, and then reactivate my phone. Now, even if government say, okay, they want standardizer, let's give them the due. Say they want standardizer because the NIN number is unique to everybody. NIN link you to several things like driving license, passport, national security, and social security. But the process is, one, there has to be an amendment of the law, which is through the NCRA, the National Civic Registration Authority. Then if we don't go amend and say, well, now, it's compulsory that the only link that you for use for register your phone. Even if they're not going to amend the law, let's say then gazette them. Let people then get for no. And now, my concern is, now, for just say from now to October, then go cut off your phone. What about people like we where they out? we get salon number. Have they created a platform whereby if the mobile phone company then can say, okay, here's a platform where you can set up a template where you can enter your NIN number, that's fine. But then government give us safeguard as to who for get access to that information of the citizen. Who should have access to that information, right? Neither the worrying. Then also, how do you get the NIN number, right? Government can take the initiative, say, okay, let's do mobile registration. Because not to all side registration center day. So until you don't do all that thing and they don't follow due process, don't explain to the people, don't tell them about safeguards in terms of access to data. How does that relate to data protection? Who do I get access to that information? That is our own concern. If it's going to be done, let it be done through due process, right? Through a gazetted notice, and give a longer period, and let government make the logistics and facilitation. Just like recently, I'll commend SLIS Aldena Freetown, no more, then get a van where they go around, where you can renew license using that van day. So why government not do the same for the NIN number? And besides, when you get the NIN number, the other two we're going to talk about, it leads to you forget you, because you see where the three arms meet, the ONS, the police, and national civic registration. Say government, they begin stop people in our streets. Or say if you not get national identity, right? So, if you not get national identity, now to your own disadvantage because you don't do nothing. But this idea of begin to stop and questioning people for national identity, is it constitutional? Is it practical? And now look at the cost of national identity. How many people can afford that? Given the high level of unemployment. So now that no more we get for up on this. So we're going to look at this whole thing of registration, citizenship's right, data protection, and also giving people the opportunity for be able to get access to the NIN number registration in the most remote part of the country. But then the law should be clearly set about we get for the data protection. Would I get access to that information? Because you can get a rogue police officer or a rogue security officer. We get access to that data. It can able to track your movement. That is where the tracking is dangerous. That is my view on this.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mengot. Let me expound a little bit on it. Because as I said earlier, again, I hope people, because you see, there is some degree of arrogance where any government, not only Sierra Leone, any government, we see the same thing like Hausa where we president thinks say, waiting command remote sense or nonsense, so be complied with. But what the example with the scenario, we'll see how useful the courts have become and how hard how lawyers are living up to the nobility of the profession, in the sense that lawyers are in court all the time. They fight the excesses of government. So what you mean to try for let people know, it's not only unique to Sierra Leone. In government, the one we get the power, we can a government get the most power, the executive branch, they always go and go overboard. That's just, it's like when you go for swim, at the beach. You can always want the tendency for go further out into the sea. Now it's not the awareness of danger, the possibility of drowning, that ain't gonna make you go steady. So my own problem now is, if the government come and tell we say, we want to do all that here for improved national planning and data accuracy, no problem. That's what we call efficiency. But when you begin to talk about even the example where Abdul give, we call her. Now, if the police then they say, well, we're able to track two guys then were in charge with treason or whatever then charged them with because we'll be listening in on the phone. That act of itself could have been illegal because I'm just emphasizing, just because government exists, not necessarily government get the right for trample over. Otherwise, what's the point of the Constitution? Why not just get rid of it? Let the government itself become the law. What in government say, that's the law. But if we get a thing we call Constitution, everybody, government or not, parliament or not, should obey and try their best for comply with the requirement of that Constitution. Okay? So when Abdul give the example, say, oh, well, then they get a treason trial, they were able to say, that's how they were able to track two people by the telephone conversation. Well, again, no criticism of the lawyers there, but the defense attorneys them could have filed a motion to suppress. In fact, you see, in America, I don't know the requirement or how able the lawyers are, the criminal legal practitioners, because we get what you call pre-trial motions. Now, a treason trial, those pre-trial motions may last in a court over a year because there's a lot to do. Every pre-trial motion where the court go through is like a trial by the bench. So you you file your motion to prevent certain evidence will come. You file your motion asking if the government get any exculpatory evidence, any evidence we go we call mitigating evidence in favor of your client. There are so many things. Okay, so that example it was Abdul Ghi. A lawyer should have raised an objection to that because, or at least argue the constitutional aspect of that. If they say then track them people and then so then take get the evidence, was that consistent with the Constitution? That's some law Parliament passed. Because Parliament necessarily they pass a lot of laws where contradict the Constitution, which is illegal, but they are not being tested. Parliament they pass a lot of stuff that are wrong. One of the things the laws they were always criticized now the Local Government Act. It should be challenged. It's an obstructionist act. It does no good. It's just there to obstruct the free flow, smooth flow of administrative activities. Okay? And so, but people don't challenge these things. So when a police officer comes, they take a stand and testify, say, oh yeah, what you would do? Illegal, the Constitution. And then there's no objection from the defense attorney and the judge let it through. That's not something we should be proud of. You see, because the whole essence of a trial is to test the wit of the lawyers, then both the government, and you hold the government to accountability. The person is accused of a crime. They never say, they say the state versus the defendant or the accused. It's always the state. So this is a whole state coming down on you, the ordinary man. The only protection he has in that courtroom is the strict application of the rule of law. What would it take very lightly in our country? And when you protect one man in right, you protect everybody in right. So when the minister just feels it and just pass law, Mr. Mengo just touch on registration centers. The minister now can tell we how people are for register for meet the deadline. He not tell we how many registration centers are there in the country. I understand say every district gets a registration. So let's say Kalang district, for example. For all I know, Kalang district spread from Shegbema, Daru, Baima, Mobai, Pendembu, Manoa, Gien, Biodu, Kwendu, up to the border. You get one registration place at the capital, when I Kalau town. Then isn't that imposing an undue burden on the poor man who may be unemployed, will not get the money for even eat, let alone for go register a card? Has anyone taken that into, and how does it get it to, how does it go to all the way to Kalau for register? From Kenema, from Chegbema to Kalau might be 50 or 60 miles or even more. So with the past laws without due regard to the people in rights, this is all I'm saying. So if the profession means anything, if the Constitution means anything, if the law means anything, we must hold the one that will get power to account. That's what the Constitution is all about. So that's my thing. So I'm not impressed when somebody tells me, oh, then track somebody in the way you do it, the proper way you do it, the soldier man them will go on trial. We then use the evidence against them. There's a way to do it. May not say government for be powerless. No, there's just a way to do it. The way you do it, you get that piece of evidence they wouldn't track on the telephone of the whatever of these people being dangerous. The law for require that then office the who that then do the tracking, I guess in a CID, for be able to get a judge or a court of competent jurisdiction, go before that, present to that court day. It could be in secrecy, as long as before a judge, for say, here is what we have on this person and impose a danger to the security of this country. Let a judge sign up on that and give them the right for tracker because of the tendency of him being dangerous to the country. That might meet pass muster for due process. So I'm not saying the government should be powerless, but I'm saying the government should not be all powerful and lawless. That's all I'm saying. And we therefore all we government them accountable. I'm telling you, you let the government, listen, the power is in the hands of the beholder. The executive, Creole man get a parable. The executive now will get all that power. The only way you're able to fetch executive, not with the law. Not with the law. If the law is being ignored, then you get tyranny. So this organization with system, the lawyers them for go to work, the lawyers them for take things more seriously. Like when Mr. Mengot say again, he say all that data they wouldn't they take, waiting at the chain of possession, and custody, possession and custody. So to whom? Everybody will get this. So the phone company will take your SIM card, they get information, all your information. Do they have a right to? Do they have any restrictions as to how it can be used? Can they sell it? Can they and call the police and give a tip on you? Can you take somebody in SIM card and call a minister and say, hey, look, I work in a so company. Guess what? You got a friend? That's so DC. So what are the guidelines? I can give worse examples than that, but I will just left and out with it. For say government don't get no responsibility. Government, Mr. Mango just give an idea. Get a mobile unit. Where go they go place to place for make sure say these requirements are met. They go meet some of the due process requirements. Take into account the fact that people don't have the money to go register those things at an average of 130 leones or whatever. A lot of people just don't have anything. And you're requiring them to have this thing registered by a certain time. You don't even give them a year or two. You give them months.
No, just a point of clarification. The 135 leons, not for the NIN. The NIN is free. The 135 leons, now for the identity card, the national identity.
But they're trying to match
so
them
too. Us, why I refer to the national identity now? Because there's been another announcement which say very soon security officers will begin stop people them
which is a flagrant, it's a flagrant violation of the freedom of movement.
National identity, then there would be a punitive measure. Waiting at that punitive measure, is it on the spot fine? Are they going to charge them to court? If they don't get money for pay, are they going to incarcerate them in prison?
All of that. What are the due process guidelines?
What are the due process? What's the rest of it? And one other point I make again where you make, sir. If we look at the mobile phone company in Salon, none is a national company. The only one who gets selected don't die. It's been killed. Africell. Who owns Africell? Right? Orange. Who owns Orange? QCell. It's owned by African, but is it a Sierra Leone national company? These people who are there, because now today they go give you NIN. Now they go give you NIN for letting you a number. Right? I can get somebody where they work in a phone company, we get access to me NIN and me phone. So tell me I get plug up my business. Yeah? IKEA will track me. IKEA will say talks against me. So what are we talking about here is the social safeguards, data protection, and processes and procedure for make sure say they use the number for the purpose for which it's intended. And we don't say there's a good purpose. Having a driving license. One unique number. Haven't. One unique number. Business. One unique number. Having your social security. One unique number. Those are the good sides. Right? But this link to the mobile phone company, most of which these companies are not Sierra Leonean owned, and they're not defined who they get access to.
Even if they are, it's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if you want to continue on this because we'll get to the second topic.
We'll get all that topics then for deal with. But we hope we don't make the points now. We hope it could get back to the minister. We hope if the minister feels say we don't mischaracterize, it's welcome. In fact, I would suggest to we board make them extend an invitation to the minister and see if he can come and just disagree with we or explain to we, or I hope say the government will take into account some of the issues that we would raise and try for streamline and extend the deadline, because there is no real rush. But like we say, England or America or Canada or Australia, they not get this NIN number for track people. Then get other ways where they able to investigate crime. There are many ways where you can track criminals under constitutional guidelines. That's what the primary purpose then. The primary purpose and then placed there are for improved national planning and data accuracy and collection, and for prevent any kind of error that in terms of depriving someone of some kind of benefit that he or she may be entitled to. So let we follow the example of countries that we get them. And let me quickly make comment. I have to say, Chief of Police says Sierra Leone get the best cyber law. I guess it's in the world. Well,
no. He said we have in Africa when it comes to.
I'm sorry. We in South Africa
second
get
best
the best. Well, what is that based on? By what metric do we have the best? We in South Africa.
Well, I don't think we should belabor that point because it's he has said it that he's had a source. If we get a real source of that coming from the minister, right, a reference like we can do a video evidence, we will try if you can send them for we. Then we go probably share on this platform and discuss about it. So even if we get that best system, we can still be able to manage the process without this link between the NIN and your mobile phone number. If that is going to be the case, let there be a system in terms of data protection, a system of logistics, accessibility, giving people then the chance, and let's extend the period in July, almost end of July, August, September. If you say October now, think about the people that were there in the provinces. We're going to need their phone number there for monetary transaction. In fact, one of the things government for do self, if they're on track, we don't talk now, mobile, now for government for extend what we call e-governments, e-commerce, all them payment then. If we focus on that, say, well, this NIN will help you with e-government, e-commerce, then we praise the government for it.
Yeah.
Right? That is a way of keeping track on all those things. It is good.
Yeah.
It is not a bad thing. But let's think about it, the safeguards, and let's use it for the beneficial purpose. I think that's my end of my submission on this.
I think the issue is adequately dealt with or addressed, so we can move forward to another, because we get other topics then. The next topic is the tripartite, the issue of the tripartite. And so because the agreement...
So before you go there, sir,
yes, sir.
Why we bring this tripartite, let's put it in context.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
The tripartite come about as a result of a dispute between two parties in an election. Two parties. The third party, now people that were made up of various other organizations. People that were either fund with elections or contribute to elections. Experts as observers. We're talking about ECOWAS. We're talking about the African Union. We talk about Commonwealth, right? We're talking about the European Union. We talk about the Carter Center from America. So this is not a homogeneous group. So why should there be one part? And so far, we don't get this committee. They don't do a fine work. They get 80 recommendations where both sides agree. Right. The priority now, implement the 80 recommendation there. It will take years. Are we going to focus on that or focus on the main thing is, in my view, and I stand to be challenged, is how do we manage the process of governance? And when we talk about governance, at the head of the governance, now the executive, the people them, how they elect with leaders them, how they elect the number one man, the all-powerful president, the all-powerful president. Some of the things that if you look to the presidential election, under the Tripartite Agreement, one of the recommendations were very critical. Now, on one side, no more than they look at, when at the recommendation 78, where they talk about either first past the post, or then they talk about PR system. But now look at the president's one. Nobody knows they talk about that. Right? Right? Then they say for amend the constitution so that the presidential election, a candidate can only be elected. That's recommendation 53. A candidate can only be elected on the first round if they obtain 50 plus 1 of the votes, total valid vote cast nationally, and B, obtain 25% of the total valid vote cast in each district. So there are many recommendations. In anything, there is recommendation 32. We talk about employment of the Electoral Commissioner. Just recently, we see where the president appoints somebody, the opposition get challenged with him. So, the same people then, for the ECSL, can we leave the ECSL as it is, operating, the people that we did it, whilst at the same time, we say we implement the tripartite. And they also talk about constitutional review. And within the tripartite recommendation, 17 of them are constitutional amendments. What should we focus about? Let's take the lower picture. Who should be responsible for running our elections, managing the elections, waiting at the rules of engagement, transparency of the results? To me, is more important than all that thing. Because we see even the party elections, the way they go on now, the delegate list, the waiting they go on, choose their flag bearer, even among themselves, there's a fight. So what do we do? Is the tripartite, is it not a mixed priority? What should be our immediate priority so that the people can be given the choice to choose who they want to lead them, and also then get a right to challenge decisions of government where they affect them? So I think that at the introduction. Over to you, sir.
Well, I'm glad, because the tripartite, as you analyze, even it seems like some of us just wonder, why is it called tripartite? Because if you constructively analyze the situation, number one, I wonder why the international communities, like all the people in the Carter Center, the EU, and all these folks, I wonder how they become parties to this agreement. And then if you analyze them, if they call them tripartite because you get APC, you get SLPP, but SLPP has two arms here. SLPP also is a government. So you get the BO government, you get the SLPP party, then you get the APC party, then you get the third parties, then these interested parties. So now 4 parties them, not to, so me not see how it become, because SLPP now 2 roles in the play. Role as a government, role as a political party. You know, unlike APC, where then just they come in as a political party. You know, so why is the people in way the other party there? Why are they even a party to this agreement? You know, what we go call them, they are not parties in interest, in reality. So I don't know why they would be a party to this agreement. The people who they help with for funding, the people who they help with for administer the process, I don't know why they are parties to this tripartite agreement. Again, that's something I would really appreciate clarification on. Why is it called tripartite? Because to me already, look over saying there are 4 parties them involved: SLPP, the government, APC, and the other European and African groups them lumped together. So look, at least at the very least, now 4 parties then are, you know. So again, Mr. Mengot, I don't know if you want for take issue with me on analysis of them, or you want to elaborate on which my observation is.
Okay, now let's say, just like you say, the tripartite, on the one side you get the SLPP party and the SLPP government, right? Because if you look at the people in the committee, the person, you get a leader will be lead from the SLPP part. Then when they're done now, even the secretariat will then form. The chairman of the secretariat, who is from the government side. And for me, waiting at the most worrying thing, let's take the third party, because the third party, where then they call, say, we moral guarantors, as far as me know, we have the African Union, we have the European Union, we have ECOWAS, and we get Commonwealth. The members say, even for fund the tripartite process, it was not funded by any of those ones. It was funded by it was a 2 million grant from the American government. That's how the rebate recommendation. Yeah. Then now we don't see recently the European Union come on, then they fund the CSOs then. Who then are CSOs, civil society organization, led by the new National Elections Watch, which is a consortium of various civil, then give them money, say, let them go around, go consult people them, for say, just one of the recommendation, which is recommendation 78. And what's in that recommendation 78 today? It say, which system should we follow? First past the post, PR system. Now, what happen? You don't come now say, according to the research we then do, and then consultation, this CSOs, about 50-something% of people them, right, say we forgot to do the first past the post. You have to look at what is their sample size. How did they come about that? I mean, how many? There's a famous saying where they say, you have lies, damn lies, and statistics. So this issue concerns all of us. Even concern me and you in the diaspora. Because even in the Tripartite Agreement, one of the things that we they say, now, diaspora voting. We have to be voting. We have to have a situation where we don't have to travel, spend a lot of money for going register. First, for being a voter. Then, when election comes, we have to travel thousands of miles. We in the diaspora now, I as Victor Mengot, like you, like so many people, we have a stake. And if they foresee moral guarantors, I believe we should be the moral guarantors. How much do these people give us for our election? Let me just give a simple mathematics. We have at least close to 1 million Sierra Leoneans living abroad. Right or wrong? I'm talking about Sierra Leoneans in America, in the continent of Europe, in Australia, in Asia. Put it this way. If each Sierra Leonean were allowed to vote, and 500,000 of those people, 500,000, we contribute for manage our election process. $100, add another 2 knots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're talking about we can generate well over $10 million, which is enough to fund our elections.
Correct.
Because you pay, yeah. And so we can be active participants in the election. Because even this tripartite, why do they leave us out? Because we are the people who are the social security safety net. Now we they send money where people are sick. Now we they pay school invest in property because we go invest down in other thing for talk. Because we go bill us, they create job for plumber, they create job for carpenter, they create job for electrician. So how can they be talking about governance of Sierra Leone and things to do with elections, representation of the people, and they leave us out? So the tripartite for me is not an issue. And while the tripartite is going, because the last time a caller been say, oh yes, then they do the tripartite on. But at the in the agreement, which is recommendation 32, we talk about, and now I read them back for people then, if they don't know. We talk about appointment of the Electoral Commissioner. Recommendation 35, it says amend the section 2(3) of the Public Election Act to require professional qualifications and experience in governance and public management for Electoral Commissioner. So, about Electoral Commissioner, we don't already see they not appoint one for the next 5 years. We go parliament, we opposition work out. So, are we being served here? We have recommendations in the Tripartite Agreement to deal with appointment of Electoral Commissioner, things to do with what system of voting, and then it's business as usual. It's as if nothing has changed. The same Tripartite Agreement, one of the recommendations said only a decimal census, where I mean census every 10 years, that figure they then for use the population data, then for use for get constituency boundaries. Remember the last election, we didn't have that. Now make sure they bring PR system. Now the last 10-year census we get was 2015, which was disputed. I know we'll count about the midterm census. Now we are saying 2026. So if it's 2026, who say we go do validation? Who say they will get that data there? Who say they will be able to use for get the constituency system? I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen, all this thing is cosmetic. They can come back with the same argument as long as the law not change. For say, because we not get a census data, we not get constituency boundary, let's go back to the PR system. So let me get to you. I want to appreciate the opportunity to listen to this discussion. You hit it on the head. Censorship instead of development. Furthermore, what is the accuracy score of the data? The data is going to be used again for election purposes. No data protection in addition to the inaccuracies. So I rest my case. I don't want to comment. So I don't know whether you want to go more on some of the issues I want to raise.
What someone does, another comment, what someone just write, I will make you address that. You say SLPP was not party to the tripartite. I will let you comment on that. But someone raised an issue and say, did we have cell phones when NPRC took over? In other words, you don't need cell phone to plan evil. You can plan evil without cell phones. So Leone use the cell phone as the worst thing would happen to we. Leone try for see all the benefits we bring to the lives of people. With respect to there's another question. Did we have cell phones? Oh yeah, it's the same thing. Then when NPRC took over, I do not need a cell phone to plan evil. That's true. But someone just say SLPP was not a party, so I don't know how you separate SLPP from the government. So what say you, Mr. Mengot?
Okay. If you say SLPP was not a party to the agreement, right? If they were not a party, the man who been the lead the SLPP team was a Mr. Gaima, right? That representing, was he representing the government or the party? In fact, it was after the end of that tripartite report, he now was made secretary to the president. And then after that, not too long ago, he was now given another job as special advisor for head the public reform unit, public sector PSRU, public sector reform, the president on public service reform. So, who was he representing? Was he representing the government or is he representing the
Or
party?
the party?
In the
Or both?
tripartite, people that will drop the agreement. Yeah, or both. The people that will drop the agreement, you had people there representing the SLPP party, same way we get people representing the APC party.
APC,
Because the
exactly.
dispute was between, so for that person they will make that comment there, why the tripartite come in? APC contests the results. So they say they know they go parliament, they need to take part in government, mean local government. Then councillors not for take part. So they decided to sign and enter into that agreement for letting them join SLPP in parliament. That was how the tripartite come in. For if somebody they talk say SLPP is not party to the agreement, so who then are the third party? The government now salon now. Let's say the government. No, say government now the third party. Is it not an SLPP government?
Indeed.
Independent government. So I'm afraid the person will make that statement there. he actually in statement will make no look all water. That's all I have to say. So continue, sir, with what are some of the things that I've raised.
Yeah, I think SLPP and the government, then are like Siamese twins. They are conjoined. So you can't, you therefore do some literal separation for tell one from the other. But so again, some of them put in there would point them out only for people involved. Really take into account the seriousness of really coming up, but it seems like a repetition of the same old. Laws are not being contemplated and enacted with the intention to make society more progressive, more safe. It doesn't seem that way. It seems like, and this goes way back to the previous government, them, and the pattern continues. And maybe that's part of government, that one party will always try to get advantage over the other, which is okay. But when the intention is just, I forget, undue advantage over the party, the eventual victim of them kind of a law than they or legislations than they, now the country, and of course, like this person be the try for tell actually just now, well, the country, now the people, we can't separate the people from the country. So when we say the country, we mean they are synonymous. We mean the people, you know. So like when we say the government, we mean SLPP, because now SLPP government we get. So then technical differences in there. I think for intellectual exercise, yeah, it might make sense. We can argue that. But on the basis of reality, what is really on the table, on the ground, I mean, there's no difference between the SLPP and the SLPP government. I mean,
Let's
want
pause for a minute. I think we have callers on the line because.
Okay. Hello, caller. What's your name? Yes, sir. Hello. Hello. If someone is trying to call in, you are not coming through. If someone is calling, you are not coming through.
Hello?
Yes, sir. If you call in, you're not coming through. Please turn down whatever equipment you get in your immediate surrounding.
Yeah, they're far from it.
Okay.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I just want one more on this electoral system and this tripartite, so-called tripartite. from the onset, you remember, say some of you me don't talk, say, even though the tripartite agreement, you find a paper, but at the implementation, I may always get concerned, but I get a question. Because where there is no sincerity of purpose, then we not expect say them we implement that the fullest. The first problem I don't get now this, and I've asked one on the panel. Since when they signed the tripartite, the implementation of the tripartite agreement, is it not immediate, or now they procrastinate or they defer them to any specific date, whether they not get timeline? The reason why I ask the question, when the suggestion, the appointment of the electoral commissioner South, this Safal, Libya, or whatever, the opposition raised concern, objection, but the way they appoint, that the president no consult, where that consultation he gets ambiguity in the constitution. We know say yes, the 1991 constitution is still in vogue, and the implementation of it go side by side with the tripartite agreement implementation. But waiting me not get because I'm not say there is a portion in the tripartite agreement, I'm not at the exact number now, we say in this for correct the anomaly where both parties them don't they do in the aspect of consulting before appointing electoral commissioner and regional electoral commissioners, therefore consult. And this time around, therefore, they get consent of the other political parties. The opposition parliamentarians, they say they don't even write them a letter or inform them saying that this person, they just get for know but that when they send the letter go to parliament, say this person is supposed to really president to appoint, they go get parliamentary approval. So I don't know
Abdul, sorry for interrupting. Should I read something for you? Abdul, I read something for you. Abdul.
The consultation when the mistake whether the both parties they don't from 1996. When they say consult, then just a call more and tell you we appoint Mohamed Shilonu, we appoint Ibrahim Sise, we appoint you Conte. Now they appoint or we appoint Christian at top. Now don't know and waiting because there's still. But are they blame both parties? Are they blame this particular APC now where they're at the left foot? That therefore take the matter go na the Supreme Court, then they go interpret what that consultation mean. Whether not denotatively they get for interpret them or connotatively they get for interpret them. Then we all get for know whether there is really sincerity of purpose on the side of government. I just say for me that contribution they have stopped. Wanna thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. I just want for respond to Abdul quick. One two-way talk. Let people understand this. Under the Tripartite Agreement, recommendation 36, I'll read it in English. It said it is recommended to amend section 32(3) of the Constitution, section 2 of the Public Elections Act, and section 34 of the Constitution to provide for a search and nominating committee for the appointment of all members of the Electoral Commission and the chair of the Political Parties Regulation Commission that comprises 9 persons from all walks of life with an overall number of women in line with GIWI, that is General and Women. So then talk about Interreligious Council, Bar Association, Civil Society, Labor Congress, Association of Journalists, Women's Organization, Youth Groups. And then say within 6 months of the establishment of that search and nomination committee, they will finalize an electoral commissioner job description that details role, responsibility, following, application, and search process. So you can see say clearly that section they were read. Now for or president nominating, then talk about qualification, they talk about search. So if we get under as a recommendation, right, and then say we they implement the such, wouldn't there be, if sincerity was there, shouldn't they have put a hold on the appointment of this commissioner and look into that particular recommendation they were just read? And people like research, it is recommendation 36, because it called for amendment of the Constitution, section 32.3. They also called for amendment of section 2 of the Public Elections Act. So you see, right, we they put the cat before the horse. So if we get this now, the recommendation at the Tripartite Committee for appoint a commissioner where both parties agree to, why should we now ignore it and continue business as usual and say we they go ahead? In my view, what should have been done, I feel that Tripartite Committee report should have gone to Parliament. The issues there where they talk about, let it be debated. Let there be a report, even a white paper, where discuss it, put a hold on all these things where they do, and put a timeline and monitoring system for the implementation of the report and the recommendation. The Secretariat, then inform them, is there any legal basis, either through an act of Parliament or constitutionally, for the work with the Secretariat do? Why didn't it go to Parliament? We get a white paper and put things them in place and agree as a legal process, right? That is my view. I stand corrected. Over to you, sir.
Well, in fact, earlier you mentioned the African Union, the European Union, ECOWAS, and the Commonwealth. Then, but the backer, the financial backer or the sponsor of this whole process, not the United States. So, and when you look at sometimes some of the money where will they sell we sell for, where, like you say, we can raise, just the diasporans that abroad from that country, they can raise twice as much, 3 times as much. So you begin to wonder again sometimes, how can we have the African Union, then we have ECOWAS, forget about the EU and Commonwealth, because me believe say, left with me, they shouldn't be giving us anything, unless things that we don't really need, things say we cannot afford. But the African Union and ECOWAS, they're not to contribute anything, but they want to make some major say so about how things are run. Now, some of them countries there, I just don't understand that kind of a mentality there, you know? So, for me, the way me look at it, okay, let me interrupt me conversation since we may be getting close to, let me read some comment. No matter, okay, we'll miss that one, it might come back. If I can use my Guinea registered network or any ECOWAS mobile network, do I need to register my SIM or mobile phone to the government? Well, I don't know. Now the government need to clarify that. Who does it talk about constitutional safeguards? That's all that we are concerned. But Mr. Mango, what do you understand the question to be? Remember that, let me read another one. When you are making a critical analysis based on the shortcomings of the now government, no sooner you make reference to the past government than you defeat the gravity of your analysis. I will encourage the person who sent this to tell us what he means by that. How do you, if you use as a reference the lack of safeguards practiced by the previous government, how does that defeat the analysis being? I want to say, I mean, I take this analysis of this person in comment for say, 2 rights can make a wrong. You know, what monkey see, monkey do. So I strongly encourage this person for elaborate on that question there. no sooner you make reference to the past government than you defeat the gravity of your analysis. But Mr. Mengo, I don't know if you can answer
Excuse
it.
me, Mr. Sheila, just put me and Lek deal with evidence-based research. I want just address this man in question. Let's go to the PR system used for the last election. One of the critical issue was the threshold for where they get seats. What did they use? They used the census figure of 2015, and that census was conducted by the past government, which the SLPP challenged. And then they also used the midterm census, which was conducted by the SLPP government, which the APC challenged. So if the two parties then challenge each other's result, then census figures then they come at a threshold for allocate seats under a PR system, which both of them go election through. So why should we only refer to waiting in the apple now and will not happen what happened previously? Because the PR system, although it was challenged in court, but they used census data collected by APC. They also used census data collected by SLPP. This is a magical system. And combine the two, get the average, and come up to, we say, the threshold of 11.9% for get seats. So the two parties are very the two sides. So that's it. So that person will say, I just gave him an example why you need to refer to what's in the happened before and what's in the apple 9, because they are both intertwined.
Okay,
then now let's just come to this one. Before you say, if I can use my Guinea network, because I'm an ECOWAS citizen, I don't work there. If I can use my Guinea registered network on any ECOWAS mobile network, do I need to register my SIM on mobile phone to get to
the government? I don't understand.
What do ECOWAS? No. What he's saying, I understand the question. Under the ECOWAS system now, you can then get waiting just like I will get in Europe, where if I get a phone registered in the UK, if I go France, I can still use them for call UK. So if that person, similar, if the person get phone where registered in Guinea, right? If na Guinea number they use, it can still use that Guinea number there for call salon number. That is what he's asking. And he's right. For instance, I have a Frisell, orange. I have an orange phone. I get an orange number which I registered in the Gambia with my passport, right? I can still use my orange number in the Gambia if they cut off the salon number because I'm not registered with me, and call salon number and receive call from Sierra Leone. That is under the ECOWAS protocol.
Okay, which defeats the purpose. Which defeats the purpose of this so-called law? Then they try for or this order. I don't even,
Yeah, because when I went to the Gambia to get a Gambian number of orange, because I get a Gambian order, I gave them my passport. And ironically, I'm not getting a salon passport because I traveled to the Gambia with a British passport. So now my British passport I use for register my Gambian SIM number. So I can still use my Gambian number for call phone a salon, and somebody from salon can call me on my Gambian number using a Sierra Leone phone. So if you cut off my Sierra Leone number because I'm not registered with NIM, I can still able to operate with a Gambian number.
Okay.
That is what this person is trying to say.
Well, this is now one of the advantages about when these things are put out there to be discussed as we're doing it, because the government itself did not take that into account, which this person just asked. They are more focused on tracking people with the intent of making the country a police state and with trample over people and constitutional rights, and in a sense minimize the significance of the Constitution will protect we all. I mean, unfortunately, there are some people that say if we let the one that would empower, the law doesn't matter. if we're not part of the supporters of the only matters when we're on the other side, when we're not a part of that group, they will get power. That will be a dangerous way for make laws. You know, let me read another thing. It's better SLPP do the needful to do the right thing to fully review our 1991 Constitution. No matter how long SLPP in governance, one day or soon will go opposition. I believe that, but they don't. I mean, the APC never believe that either. So we don't learn any lesson. The past doesn't mean we just dig the hole deeper and deeper. The past, no matter to we experiences, no matter. They look like what matter now the present. No consideration about the future. So in answer to that person in question, because they don't want to spend, because all these activities are being geared towards the 2028 election. And the paramount thing that the major issues like economics and internet, they are not even being addressed by the so-called aspirants them to the presidency. You know, they're not even talk about that. They're all they think about now then the jockey for position for their own personal benefit, not to lead the country into prosperity. It's unfortunate, but you can tell by the trend of the discussions and the activities of the political parties there. Again, some of us took the position that the worst disservice to Sierra Leone, this is the first time, and Mr. Mengot can correct me on that, where you get the parliament, then just get the two parties the normal. It is not good for Sierra Leone. The minority or then small parties them where the actual balance for keep the two parties, the big parties them in check. When you eradicate them two parties, then all you've done a disservice to the country. You know, they gonna then be the small party they went and throw them wait to one of the big guys them. The big guys get the majority what they need for govern. So if constructively APC though succumb to whatever persuasion and then think say if Sierra Leone should run on the basis of if it's not SLPP, it's APC. Well, I don't know. And now in fact with the area a lot of unconstitutional conversations then what it take place now within the general circle. We will never allow APC for kind of power. But how do you do that democratically? How do you prevent when you say we will never? I mean, that's a decision to be made by the people, not to a politician for say that. So the only way where you go never allow the other side for assume power. Now for engaging surreptitious means, you know. So some of them outline this conversation and they are very discouraging for people like we, because one for see the country go up, not for just benefit a handful of ambitious or over ambitious people. But unfortunately, that's not where we see the country lean. So let me go back to Mr. Mengot. Mr. Mengot, we're approaching the close of time, so we get one more topic.
I think let's end with some hilarious moment. I don't know if
the control room.
I don't know a recent video recently where we see the mayor and the first lady where they're gonna housemate. I don't know. I want let just show down it epitomizes what happens in the country if you able to get them. Because when the first lady say, if you see you deal with APC now for Olean, I don't know if we have it. That would be a good end up to the trial for talk for sure. How then two people are take we. Yeah, they say the best truths are told in joke. Control room. Can you hear us? But well, to round up, if we don't have that video, what I can say, yes, I think it's coming up now. Housemate Saloon.
if na APC tinap next to Yolian. If na SPP tinap near Yolian.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that says a lot. You understand? The two leading women, one the terrorists say, Yusuf no say, now me they corrupt the system. The other one they say, now we get there in the next term. So it just shows all their focus, although not in jest, but they say the best truth are told in jokes. Now for now for the 2028 election, that is all what they are focused on. And then go next program company and say they cannot afford to go to. So that's a situation. I want to finish with this to say, are we being served by our politicians? Even if they take a serious issue as a joke, now we get them. Now we don't corrupt the system. I don't know what it says. If it's a joke, then I rest my case. Over to you, sir, for roundup.
Well, what people me on comment to me get now is that I appreciate the friendly gestures being exercised or demonstrated by the two ladies them. Sometimes we need that kind of a disposition there for we not for be enemies. So that has its place in the whole process. But we need for focus, we'll get 2026, we'll get 2027, before we get to 2028. There are real issues to be solved. You know, economic and many other issues that we should be focused on. By now, we need to politician them for the give some idea how progressively in 1 or 2 or 3 years Sierra Leone will be and what you will expect. If you know, that's tell we what you dream and what you see Sierra Leone under your leadership or of your party or you, what is Sierra Leone will accomplish. And to me, those that would be more inspirational that just individuals them vying for control for just the sheer power and nothing else. You see, because economic issues are not being addressed, critical analysis are not being made, like electricity, water, all entering in there. And for example, when I talk about the SIM card, the reference was made because I'm sure the minister will say all of that with the Western area in mind. But I cited up country, the difficulty we will create for the people, and because sometimes we tend to forget them people in there. You know, there is one comment, it looks like, and the Electoral Commissioner of the South was approved even when the opposition raised concerns. Well, that goes to what they say, the government doesn't believe in rules and is dangerous. It doesn't serve the country well. Therefore, all the nominees for the Eastern region will be confirmed, even all the APC walkouts. So I don't know where this person stands. If he thinks it's a good practice, opposition, objections, doesn't matter. Does share power. I mean, the people know what they send in comments there. If not that, you mean, you for us believe, say, if when the shoe gets on the other foot, then you know for be concerned because you believe it should be survival of the fittest, not to actual democratic practices. Then somebody, I think one of the persons said, exactly what I mean, Mr. Mengot, my old WhatsApp may not be the same with my registered my registered mobile number, because I may change SIM between and still use the old SIM for WhatsApp. Mr. Mengo, do you get that?
Yeah, I got that. What he's saying, having the NIN as a means of getting you can be defeated by having several numbers. Because now WhatsApp more than can trace people. So as he's saying, he can still register an old number, stay within WhatsApp, right? And continue. And this person in Australia, they do track your phone communication during an investigation. Yes, we are not saying
even in America, we're not saying they don't do. See, people are missing so much. We are not saying it's not even done in America. It is done, but it is done in a clearly prescribed manner. The police forget two. First of all, they have to have probable cause. Secondly, they forget reasonable and articulable suspicion that a crime is being committed. Then thirdly, they have to go before a judge with a sworn affidavit to convince that judge they will issue the order to search or investigate. So we're not saying it's not done in other countries, but we are saying the way it's done in our country with a country where the constitution is just the wrong way, because you are skipping the law. You just use raw power. So we're saying the law is not being followed. I hope that clarifies the issue. So we're not saying government everywhere, in the process of an investigation, if they get reasonable basis, if they get probable cause, if they get reasonable articulable suspicion, of course, government should be empowered, but it should be done with no violation of due process. Is what we're saying. You may not see it that way because it doesn't affect you until it affects you or your loved one. Then you go understand the point now. Government don't forget the power for just willy-nilly, just and track your phone, because when it tap your phone, they may catch a lot of private conversations that had nothing to do with government. But we also brought the point that if you not put a check on that, it can be abused, it can be misused by private parties in powerful positions. We hope people are going to understand that. Even this person was sending this comment. If a minister wants you wife or your girlfriend, he can use that power there, forget a lot of the secret conversation there, and get into your wife or your girlfriend and say, look, the kind of man. Is that what you want? Just because you get the power, or you want the government to get that power there? Or they could just falsely claim, say you're doing wrong things. That's all we're saying. So, but Mr. Mengot, again, you may have your own comment on that, but I want this person to understand what we're saying. We're not saying it's not being done elsewhere. But here, Australia, Canada, then advanced countries there, then get guidelines so the government for follow. And we want people to understand, say, government not there above the law. Government for follow the law just like the rest of the people. I think some of them think, say, because government is government get the right for do certain things. Then if you believe that, then just go ahead and say constitution is useless. It's not necessary. Once you get a government, let them run the country the way they want. So, Mr. Mengot, next to you. But let me say good night to the rest of the people. We've reached the end of our show, but Mr. Mengot may close by making a comment, and then we'll close. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Well, I think we've dealt with this issue a good while. I think, as we say, we will continue to monitor the trends in social media. And again, we will try, because we know, say, even the Ministry of Information, even if not the minister, I get people that when a government spokesman, we will reach out to them so they can explain to we and clarify some of these concerns and at least we safeguard with people then. So we're telling her thank you. A new week is coming. This is almost the end of the month. We are finishing the 7th month. So we wish you well. Stay safe until we meet again next week. They say Tata, I'm sorry in UK. Good night, good afternoon, and God bless.